All right, call the meeting to order. My apologies for being a couple minutes late. I got stuck at it's a Tuesday. I got stuck at the shop. Not used to, yeah, not used to that. So, the second item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and the motion reads that committee approves the agenda as presented. Need a mover?
So moved.
By Councilor Martell, seconded by
So
Deputy
moved.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor Dilba. Further discussion on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, conflict of interest, and the general nature thereof. Does anyone have a declaration?
None by me.
No delegations and presentations. So we're on to the minutes for the previous port meeting, committee meeting. And the motion reads that Port Management Committee receives and approves the minutes of the Port Management Committee meeting dated April 20th, 26. As presented, I need a mover. Moved by Chris Ward, seconded by Councillor Smale. The item is open for discussion. Looking around the room for hands. No discussion on the minutes. Okay, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Business arising from those minutes, if any. Anyone have business arising from those minutes? Okay, hearing and seeing none, then we'll move on to discussion items, which are AMO delegations. I was supposed to bring this up. It was in my inquiries last Monday for our meeting regarding things that we wanted to put forward. There's 2 days left to submit for delegations for AMO. So if there's anything that anyone wants to bring up that we should move forward, then now's a great time. And I felt, seeing we didn't do it at the last council meeting, it made sense to do it here at the PMC, simply because the other four at the table may recognize some things that we should be talking about when we have that opportunity. So, floor is open. Anyone for delegations? Chris? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, I think actually, from the port side of it, it doesn't hurt to have with conversation with the same group as well as from the township perspective. But I think we should have something for the Ministry of the Environment. Partially to deal with, the continuing conversation on salt from the port perspective, but also a discussion about the information we got back for the town of Spencerville with regards to the asking for our second discharge. I don't know if there's anything we want to talk about there, but I feel like we should be talking about that situation there and seeing if there's a way forward on progressing something there, for growth, because otherwise we're kind of stuck.
I don't think we like the options that we were
No.
presented with. I think there's always, from an environmental perspective, looking to staff. Is there a salt retaining pond issue? Like, is there anything that we want to move forward to? You're talking MECP, right? So
yeah.
that
From a salt perspective, I think we have developed quite a good relationship with our local inspector right now. And I think we did thank them in advance for the work that they had done with us, but it doesn't hurt again there's been no issues in the last few months because there's no salt on the dock. We haven't seen them since we submitted our annual report, but
worthwhile asking for a delegation? Yeah, okay. So let's do that. Further, Chris?
I think that was the one that comes to my mind.
Doesn't have to be Port, it can be township as well.
Yep. Well, yeah. And then, like I said, I think from the township perspective, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation with MECP as well, or Ministry of Environment, I guess it is. I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that one after the meeting and see if we can figure out what the ask would be of them, because we're going to put staff to work to formulate something for us. And I'm not.
Yeah. And it was just, as you talked about it, it's like, is there a discussion there to have? So you should have that conversation.
Yeah,
sure. So
I think if we had somebody knocking down the door that, Okay. Steve?
Yeah, I'd like to see us sit down with the Ministry of Agriculture and their delegations
And to
see if there's any grants out there, the provincial grants for our port in the agriculture sector there that can help us.
So you want to do it through agriculture for infrastructure at the port?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially he knows the port. So
Okay, so you're looking for Trevor, I assume?
yeah.
Minister Jones.
I don't have really good luck with those people, but anyways, we can try.
It's worth, if you think it's worthwhile, we can always have a conversation. Anything else? Joe?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we were talking last meeting about trying to keep the Seaway open all year round. Is there anything at AMO that could to help us out with that?
Federally navigated waterway. Probably a federal discussion, but worthwhile to talk to the MTO to see if we could get them on side to advocate for year round. Yeah, why not? That's interesting. Yeah, nothing to lose. Well, that's good. I think we all support that, right? So, yeah, okay, sure, why not?
What about the big receipt thing? Are we bringing that?
Yeah, well, I've got the check. I've got the check. We can bring the check. Waddy?
No.
No. Frank, is there anything you can think of? No. Regina? Clint?
Yeah, respectfully, you mentioned about the port and about AMO delegations. Is there a list available of which delegations or which outreach has already been put in place or the gears are already going on?
We could put something in place for what we've done over the past 4 years, like all the delegations that we've made and that we've advanced, if that's what you're asking.
I think it'd be really good from a perspective to see what was set in the ground and where they've gone over the last 4 years, and if there's still any traction. I don't know what
Yeah, no,
you guys lobbied for, what you advocated for at AMO.
Yeah. Yeah, we've certainly done, we've done 4 or 5 pretty much AMO and Roma.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I don't know, countless ones with the counties as well. But we can certainly have staff pulled together. It's not a hard list to send out to let you know what we've asked for.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you think we should be advocating for?
Well, the only thing that I'd throw out that I haven't heard is that if I was the Port of Johnstown and I was sitting down at AMO and I had the opportunity to meet with Jill Dunlop, Minister of Emergency Preparedness, I would reach out to her and see if there's anything that could be done, or they have any plans for reserve fuel storage or anything else to do with emergency preparedness for the province that the Port of Johnstown could contribute to. I know there's been some level of discussion surrounding that, and I don't know if the port's ever approached her or her ministry about that.
Yeah, it's certainly a discussion we can have. Yeah.
Emergency preparedness,
Emergency
Jill
preparedness.
Dunlop. So when that portfolio was first created under Doug Ford's previous administration, Trevor Jones was the first minister of emergency preparedness and response. When they ran again, Flack went out of agriculture, Trevor Jones moved in, and Jill moved into emergency preparedness. Okay.
From college and universities.
She was college and universities a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a separate, I think, a holding pen for a little while there. Okay. But yeah, she was there for a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it'd be really good. And I've heard Jones talk about it before as well, about the potential and about advocacy for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%. I think that there's yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
But it's something that's on the table. So
Anything else?
no, that'd be
Can you wear a different hat too? Is there anything else?
From an OFA point of view? No, I think if you're going to get together with, Minister Jones and his group and see if there's anything that can be done there, just keep your name in the hat, keep the focus in front of him. He obviously knows who we are and where we are. And he's a good guy to work with. He's a great guy to have working with you. And he's a big advocate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's perfect.
he likes what we have for sure.
Yeah, he sure does.
Yeah.
He sure does. Speaks highly of it every time I talk to him. So still remembers his tour and how everybody thought he left and then he came back and then got the round of photos. So yeah, it's all good.
Thought maybe he was on the roof.
Yeah. That's a whole Beacon thing. But anyways, thank you.
Well, it was Clint. So Randy, anything you can think of? Oh, Sean, you got your hand up.
Yes, through the chair. Just with the MTO delegation, just wondering if you wanted to add the 400 series highway response calls that we were supposed to follow up with last time, but we we had the first initial conversation, but we didn't have the follow-up. Do we want to put that on the MTO one as well?
Yeah, 100%. Hardeep made a promise to us that day that he never followed through with. So I think, and sorry, Minister Graywell, Associate Minister Graywell, I shouldn't call him Hardeep, made a promise to us that day, and he certainly didn't follow through with it. So, hydro. I mean, that's going to be a never-ending one. I think we do need to see Minister McCarthy as well. I don't know if he'll still be with infrastructure at that point, or whether it'll be back to Minister Surma, but whichever one it needs to be, I think we'll be needing to express our thank you for work well done at that point. Yes.
Should we be having any kind of conversation with Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding, and I don't know if we'll know by that time or not, but with regards to the Lear conversation about agricultural land? I know that's.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I think it is, I mean, it's an Ontario Land Tribunal issue at this point. I don't know if we're even allowed to have a further political conversation about it while it's in front of the tribunal. So, but we can request a discussion regarding, yeah, I mean, it is ultimately it's Lear, but the OLT is with the counties, not with the individual municipality. So
Yeah.
maybe I don't know if they'll accept it, but
They've been.
I don't think it hurts to try.
Did we,
The Lear is, sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to cut you
No, go
off.
ahead.
The Lear is one of the most important things that,
Yeah.
you know, making sure.
do we have a delegation with Ministry of Energy on natural gas from not the port, but from number 2 down in the
We have
village
we-
of
we've-
Spencerville? We have that?
We've had one. I don't know where it is on the Enbridge website. We can have a quick look, but we can request that as.
But we can request it for the Ministry of Energy.
Yeah, I don't think that one's a lot of work for staff. That delegation's been
Yeah,
done a bunch
think
of
we
times,
should
but we can repeat it again.
keep going back to the well on that.
Yeah.
Someday we might get a little water.
Yeah.
So
Look into staff. So when we had the premier, talked about support for the dock, would you think nothing materialized in the budget? Is that something that we want to try to get in front of Bethenfall before? Like argument wise from a Minister of Finance? I mean, it has to go through. You think it's infrastructure? We do it through Minister Jones? You think you do it through Minister McCarthy? Did them both with the same delegation?
With that speaking.
Yeah, with the dock.
Sorry, yeah, with that speaking point, I'd approach them both. You know, infrastructure's McCarthy, obviously, that's where it's going to come from.
Yeah.
Bethenfaldy will divvy out the funds however he's told to, or however it's decided they go. And Jones is a big advocate for making sure that the port stays in place to
Yeah,
support ag.
And we can just continue the advocacy letters through the Premier's office, through our MPP too. Yeah. All right. So let's not let that go. I mean, they know the work that we've done. They know we've already secured up the first 2,500 acres of the land bank. We know that there's a hydro issue. They know that the ongoing issue with the gas from Enbridge, and they know certainly for the industrial park that hydro is an issue as well. But all of those ministers have all been to the port. They all know what it has to offer. Yeah, it's certainly, yeah, that makes sense. Can we, just looking, Rebecca, can we put that list together though of what delegations that we have made? Like not right now, I'm not asking you to do it right now. Just send an email out maybe so that we do understand. It shouldn't be very
Through the chair, I think we need to prioritize in the next couple of days for staff to get the delegation requests out that you're requesting tonight, because we have less than 2 full days to complete all of these
Yeah.
between the two of us. And then I can talk to our CIO and other members of our team that have prepared these in the past, including myself and the GM, and we can prepare that and send it out.
Yeah, no, what I'm asking for is a copy of I don't want the copy of them, just to know what
Mm, yeah.
delegations we've made in the past to see if there's
Yeah, of
continued
course.
advocacy that
Of
needs
course,
to be
I'm
done.
just saying we need to prioritize these delegation requests above the list right now. We can send out the list for sure. I just don't know if we can
Just want the
compile
list.
all that
I just
like,
want a list.
tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Well,
can.
if you can, I can. So it's fine. Okay, let's move on to 8A, which is grain operations. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Grain operations report for April. The month of April, the inventory ended at 34,058. A little disappointing where the level is. The rail deliveries didn't really materialize like they were forecast. The vessel schedule also slipped. We did have a corn vessel. When it was the first day of May, I think. So we did have a corn vessel then, but everything seems to be pushing. We had forecasted about 600 rail cars, and I think probably to date we've had about 150. So we're in spite of that, we continue to trudge forward. We take advantage of the inventory and continue to work on our confined space entries for our bins, inspections and deep cleaning, and maintenance on the buildings. And also now that the warmer weather is here, we're taking advantage and getting some spring cleanup done to the property. Traffic for the month, received 955 tons by truck, 4,652 tons by rail, and we shipped 10,930 back out on truck. Our labor hours for the month were 34.47 compared to 34.36 from the previous year month, and we are maintaining our AAA quality report. And that's our operations report for April.
Okay, discussion on the operations report. Chris, any questions?
No, I mean, that inventory being so low is obviously a big contributor to the revenue. So if we were to, maybe that's a revenue question, actually, never mind. No, I don't. I think we're stuck with at the mercy of the trains not coming in, and that's a problem we need to figure out, right? Obviously, and so you guys are working with whomever to try and get the problem solved there, because they keep promising big numbers. I think we've heard this 3 months in a row. They're planning on big numbers and they're not materializing. So we should hopefully we're chasing that down to figure out what's going wrong there. So I don't think there's a question there. I just think it's disappointing, and I think you're feeling the disappointment. You're showing the disappointment as well, right? So
Yep. That it? Good. Steve?
Yes. I think we all know that the low inventories is going to be there right until this year's crop season. I mean, in all fairness, we can say we're getting corn boats or corn, on the rail, but we knew that it's going to be low and it's not going to improve until 2026 crop season. So, and pray to God that we get a good crop season. If we have the same one we had last year, then we're going to have to do some Hail Marys. So
I feel confident with the 50,000 tons of corn we're going to get in by vessel. I mean, the manufacturing requires that. I mean, it really needs to come. But I mean, with everything that else is happening in the world right now, I mean, there's so much insecurity that no one can forecast anything right now.
no, but we knew, we did understand we had a bad year last year, and we knew it was going to continue until our 2026 crop season.
100%, all the inventory shipped.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's right there, and it's not going to, you might get your 50 grand there and then, nothing in July or August. So
Joey? Lonnie? Frank? Regina? Clint?
If I may, thank you. Mike, I think I heard you say you had 600 rails estimated. Is that for the year or is that to this point in time?
So that was from January till the end of May.
That was the estimate?
We had forecasted, yeah.
Okay. So that's,
Through local businesses saying, look, I've got, 150 cars coming in, and the next guy, I got 150 cars coming in. But
okay.
it just, it's a tough business to ship by rail, and everyone is extremely disappointed how it's all turned out, including us.
That was all corn, I expect?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
some from Canada, some from the US.
Right, and the cars just didn't show up or
No.
they couldn't get them booked?
Yeah, couldn't secure it. It's been a nightmare for everyone.
Fair enough. And it didn't show up by truck either, so it's just.
There's non-local.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's an expensive commodity to move by truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious, what's the miscellaneous grain? What's that 957 number? What's in that?
Oats, barley, and rye.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's sort of a mix.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Randy? And I think I'll leave it at that too. So then moving on, I think we are on to maintenance report. Jeff?
Okay, maintenance report from May 19th, 2026. Lots of negativity, but the positive thing from the maintenance side is we get able to get a lot of work done right now, which will help us out when we do get busy. So there is an upside to some of this. Anyway, so weekly, monthly dust system maintenance, fabricated, installed a new base for fan and motor of dust fan number 8. We also replaced the fan shaft and bearings at the same time, replaced diaphragm and mainspring of C dust system purge air valve, fabricated, installed new depth indicator for the saltwater retention pond. Annual lubrication is underway with the annex equipment being completed. We replaced air brake control lines on the Trackmobile, installed urethane liner number 3 lofter head and number 6 turn head, conducted empty bin maintenance of annex bin number 9. We're installing additional rollers at 5, 6, and 7 belt loaders. This is on the bin floor. These are needed before the installation of air scrape dust suppressors, which is an improvement to the dust system. We're replacing lofter belt number 4. This was a capital project that should be done by the end of this week. Air separation technologies conducted an overall assessment of our dust system. Other than a few minor findings on C filter in particular, our system is functioning very well and will only improve as we continue with the upgrades such as new rotary valves and repairing minor leaks throughout the system. We've already taken care of the issues on C filter, and we'll be installing the 2 remaining rotary valves next month. Work in the electrical department, installed electrical feed to new ductless split and elevator equipment room. Working with the millwrights, obviously, replacing lofter belts and buckets. We prepped all grounds keeping equipment for the season. Conducted monthly premise inspection. Completed items from previous safety inspection report. We ran temporary power supply to Samota's construction trailer for their season, working on the bin walls. Test run all A tower ship unloading equipment before the arrival of Algoma Niagara, and repair large roll-up door receiving lane number 8. Any questions?
The ship unloading equipment, is that for the corn that's coming?
That's what it
corn
was.
that's
Yeah,
coming in?
before the
Yeah.
first vessel. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been and gone, right?
yeah, it has.
Yeah. Okay,
And it worked. It
worked
went
well.
great, didn't it, Mike?
Awesome.
Yep.
Good. Now we just need 6 or 7 more.
Yeah.
Um, you finished at this point, Jeff? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll just look and see if there's questions. Anyone? Counselor Smale?
Thank you, Mayor. To Jeff, just out of curiosity, the dust that's been going on in the elevator, are the employees ever checked for anything that's happening in their lungs?
The guys are tested. Oh, they wear dosimeters every 2 or 3 years, I believe. And yes, it is tracked, monitored, and documented.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you, Jeff.
Anyone else? No. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Capital budget. You gonna speak to it?
Can I just speak to it? It's just because we did provide everybody with an updated version
Yep.
this evening that that this has changed a bit from the version that was included with the agenda package. And based on some discussions, and obviously we're going to get to the financial impact, but because of kind of what we describe as the grave financial situation we're in right now, although the capital projects do not impact the bottom line of the surplus or the operating budget, we are mindful that this is obviously going to be cash in the bank. So we have, as a team, went through and we're proposing, there was 3 in the original package, but we're proposing a few others that we could defer till next year, to a proposed savings of 1.375 million at this time, given the financial impact. But I'll let Jeff and Mike speak to the projects that they're working on.
For my part, you see there's some items in green, but like project number 13 and 14, they've both commenced this week. That's the replacement electrical feeders, and they are going to come in under budget. Number 15, A-tower lofter bucket replacement. The buckets, everything is here. So that money has already been spent, and the project will be completed. Same for the fire hydrant valves. The rotary valves, like I said, the last 2 are here. They will be installed. Number 5, lofter belt. We'll be replacing that. The belt has been purchased and is in stock, so we'll be replacing that as soon as we get a couple of the other projects out of the way, as well as number 5 lofter buckets. Actually, from my perspective, getting the jump on projects this year has been a big help. The financial end of it, well, I'll say that it's not great for the business, but the slower business does give us a chance to get some projects done that we might not normally get done.
I'll stop you there just quick, Jeff. Is there anything that needs, like, I mean, there's a list that are proposed deferrals. Is there anything that you're saying that from a business perspective, it gets done? It's not going to be easy to get done in a year that it's a crazy busy year. At least that's sort of what I'm hearing. Is there anything there that should stay on? Do you think? I mean, now's the time to speak about that and maybe give us a reason why.
Sorry, Tori.
That's okay.
We've all talked about this, and anything that Leslie has highlighted in, is it peach?
Salmon.
That fruit will not be picked. So let's just leave it. Okay. And it will have no impact on the business or the functioning of the business to receive and ship trucks, cars, or trains. So we selected them based on the fact that it won't affect business this year.
Okay. All right. Further questions for Jeff at this point, anyone? Frank?
And it may actually be for Mike, just given what's listed here, but in general, is there any cost to us deferring the proposals? And I'm thinking specifically the grain elevator bin walls. Had we already engaged someone to do that? And as a consequence, there's a cost to deferring?
So you're talking about the painting, Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, those bin walls have been leaking for 50 years and we're trying to stop it. But certainly deferring it years will have no impact.
But my thought is, from the contractor perspective, if they were expecting the work and now we say we defer the proposal, are they expecting us to pay any sort of penalty to them?
He hasn't even come in and given us his quote yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd included 150 in the budget to sort of move along with more of that project, but we hadn't put it out yet.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. We've been talking about a lot of this stuff for a while. We're just understanding where we're at with the business and not pushing it all through. We just kind of, I don't like to say we've been kind of waiting to see, but we've kind of saying, what can we knock off this list that's not going to have an impact?
Yeah. Okay. Further, did you have? This is both of you, right? So Jeff and Mike. So
well, Leslie canceled all my stuff. So, but she just said you're out. I guess the only thing is the grading trailer. It is now under construction and it should be delivered by the end of June.
Right. Which is good. Okay, further discussion. So the 1.3 would sort of offset where the projected, is that what we're sort of thinking, that we're going to be short in revenue?
Approximately, yes. I've done an estimate of, I don't know if you want to engage in the financial
Yeah, no,
discussion now, but
okay.
yeah, so I've quickly readjusted the revenues and expenses and intend to, if there's the wish of council, to bring this back at a future meeting, just basically a revised, updated budget based on we're almost $1 million in debt at this point. So the revised surplus would be approximately 1.4 million. So that allocation would make up for, we had originally, the approved operating budget was a surplus of approximately 3.1 million. So that would essentially make up for the
Well,
difference.
we'll be short.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, further discussion on deferrals or for the
I have
capital budget? Yeah, Steve.
Yeah. The dust system annex, whose is that, Jeff? Can that be a safety issue if we don't jump on that? Anything with dust, I get a little worried. down
At this
there.
point, no,
There's nothing.
no. We're just trying to clean it up better than it is.
And our road and rehab paving, I hate to put that off because what'll happen is I can see it right now. Can see it. 2026, we got 300 grand in it. 2027, we'll have a million in it, or 700 or 800,000. It'll just keep growing because it takes a pounding. We all know that. And if we don't keep updating that down at the wharf in our trucking lanes, we're going to be right back in 2020. We'll be playing catch up. That's all I'm afraid of. This has been budget. And, to defer this, I mean, I wish we'd at least take a good look at the road and paving. And if you're saying that the dust system hasn't got an issue of safety, okay, or any of the dust suppression systems for the pits, that's fine. But I'd like to keep that 300,000 on the books for paving, just so we're not getting behind. So that's my feeling. And the track shed roof replacement too, that's just going to get worse before it gets better. Am I right?
I appreciate you saying that on both those subjects because they're the ones that hurt me the most not to have on there because they can, although they're not going to affect our business this year, it could affect down the road. And certainly
It's going to do it in 2027. I'll
road
tell
is
you
in
that
dis-
right now.
The road is in disrepair. We thought maybe we would do a bit of a revision and maybe just rebuild it and put some gravel in it for this year.
My thinking
There's another thought on that too, because our business is changing and we're changing, it used to be where we just put corn out to the annex. Well, we don't do that anymore because now we put wheat in the annex because it's easier for us to ship by truck out of there. So, I mean, and it's becoming more of a part of the business we do with the main elevator. So, we thought we would possibly back the pro bus. We have room to make a better road into the annex. So maybe we thought, well, let's just do it with gravel this year so we can kind of see how the flow is going to go. And then we can, cinch it up and pave it.
But the entranceway is not going to change. We're going to have a ton of traffic.
Well, that entrance has currently been redone. That road rehabilitation is when you turn to go to the probe.
Right.
The one lane is gone.
That's just my 2 cents.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
What it's
I mean,
worth.
What's the, so when you talk about the roof replacement part, you said it's going to have an issue down the road. Speak to the issue.
Because the roof is leaking, it's leaking down through the track shed and into the basement. And in the wintertime, some of that water that runs down in there gets in the cracks and it spalls the concrete. So the longer you let it go.
Okay, well, there's a healthy chunk there, Steve. If there's something that you think that needs to be put back on, and
It's 500 grand. It's
I think-
$500,000.
I think staff's doing.
Number 4 and number 6, I'd like to keep it on.
Yeah.
We
I think-
haven't
I
even
think
got estimates or anything,
we
have
were
we?
we were trying to put something forward to try to help with the situation we're in. And it's certainly
And I
the business
appreciate
will run
that.
with those things off the list. No question the business will run.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I just think it's going to come and bite us in the rear end down the road. So I like to keep 4 and 6 in myself. If I can get support around the table.
I can agree with 6. I mean, I don't like the leaky roof and what that could be causing down the road, damage to other systems and everything else as well. I can see keeping 6 on anyways, as far as that goes. The road, the road's going to get less use this year. I mean, I think we're, while we're not in that conversation yet, I don't think we're going to see any, I think the monthly erosion of like the monthly deficits we're seeing, I think those are likely going to continue until September, October timeframe when we start to get stuff in. I think we're going to see less traffic on the roads. I'd be willing to say, like, I'm okay with delaying the roads until next year and doing it over 2 years to catch up again. I mean, that's my take, but I'm certainly okay with putting the track shed roof back on to be done.
Okay. Leslie?
My concern about the road rehabilitation is that Mike and I have agreed that we are not road building experts. So we did have township staff come in and help us just assess the situation. And according to the township staff, that the base is so dehabilitated that it needs to be engineered and done properly. So at this stage of the game, to do it properly, I don't think that any of us are in the business of spending money and then tearing it up next year. Like, how embarrassing, right? And not a proper use of resources. So that's where our thought was, that could we just kind of propose and try what we wanted this year with just some gravel? Maybe it's $50,000 worth of granular A to propose it and do the engineering this winter and do it properly versus.
Yeah, Councillor Smith.
The price of paving, it just keeps going up and up and up, so it could double by the time you're ready to pave it again. I mean, that's a chance you're going to have to take, but like the gravel, I think it would work for now, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Further?
And to Leslie's point, I mean, it lets us see the flow. I mean, it's important for us. I mean, it's in our vision. It's like, I hate to say this, but I mean, let's look at the corn dryer. It's looked great on paper, but now that it's physically there, maybe it just doesn't work there. Should maybe move it somewhere else. And we'd like to see that with the driveway too. Look, if we have 2 lanes coming in here and we back the probe up, does it make that extra lane work or now? And then if it doesn't, we just move the gravel. I understand you're saying it's going to cost more next year, but it may cost a lot more if we decide we pave it and then we got to tear it up and make another change.
Yeah, so try it, see if it works, and then build it appropriately. Is that the only spot that needs paving though? Like the entranceway, the other part's complete and it's okay. The dock part there's nothing there I just want to make sure that, that we're talking about the only spot that needs to be done.
There's nothing as bad as what we've proposed.
Okay.
It's a big property. There's always going to be little areas that you think you could do, but I mean, we just did the track entrance, and I mean, I think it's all in fairly good shape.
Okay.
Other than that road we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, and they're all, I mean, the idea is that we're proposing a deferral of them, but they were still included in the budget. The reality is you're just not going to do them. You're going to work in progress them till next year, sort of idea. So if something came up and you actually did want to put an RFP out for the paving for their something, then you still could come back and ask for it, and we could still go ahead and any of these really. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm certainly a strong supporter of the track shed roof being, back in. If you feel that strongly about that there's an issue there that needs to be attended to, then,
Again, that's another issue that's been there a long time. It certainly, if we feel it's important to maintain the savings, we can put it off for another year, but it is something that, Jeff had identified it as needing to be done. And
yeah, I get the sense that one, the feel is that we should just leave it and go ahead, right? I think that seems to be the nodding. I think maybe we'll just keep that one in. Okay, and we'll peek at this again, probably. I'm assuming we're going to peek again at this in June and yeah, we'll just stay tight on it, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, staff, any last go on that one? You're good? Good. Mike, you're good?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Okay, all right. So then, financial / traffic report, Rhonda.
Well, you've heard Mike's report, so you know how mine's gonna go. So our revenue for April was 313,000. Obviously our storage is what the big part and what keeps it significantly lower. Combined with our total throughput of grain was down by 169,000 year to date. So that all puts us at the slow start to the year. On a positive note, we did have revenues of 58,000 in rail services, which we haven't seen since 23/24. We do hope to see a turnaround on revenue with the arrival of the grain boat we had in May, plus 3 to 4 salt boats. 2 more have been added for June, I do believe. Again, those can move. And a steel pipe for another 1,700 in June is going to come in. Our expenses for April were 498,000 for the month, which we have been able to keep lower than last year by 108,000. Our labor and benefits combined were down a total of 66,000 over last year, along with the operating expenses were down by 75,000 as we continue to manage our way through this part of the year. For the rail services, I missed putting it on the report, but we also did have some rail, the calcium chloride is coming in by rail. There's been 8 more in May so far. I'm not sure exactly how many more are coming, but so that'll be added to the rail services revenue along with some just the calcium chloride wharfage also. Our traffic report. So we had the one salt boat in May. We had the liquid bulk, the calcium chloride, and the break bulk was already there. So we had a 29,134 in versus 146,000 at this point last year. So that's basically my report. If you have any questions.
There's supposed to be, I think I was reading that there's supposed to be 3 to 4 salt boats. Have we seen that number or?
A couple of them were canceled, and then a couple have moved to June. They just kind of move around, unfortunately.
Okay, and it's not really part of the issue at this point anyways, right? The leases are up. And when I went through
Yeah,
it,
the leases would
portion-
have their regular increases, and I mean that we get that regardless,
right?
for their storage.
Yeah.
So it won't affect any of that. It's just it'll affect our harbor services a little bit, but
Yeah.
from everything we kind of hear, I do believe that the salt should still be on par or better than previous years. So it's just timing of the vessels coming and.
Okay. Questions for Rhonda? No, Chris?
I think it's the obvious, seeing what that forecast looks like for the next. I mean, this is the first 4 months of the year. We have, we've got $1 million, call it $1 million right now in deficit at this point in time, that we're looking at, and I don't think we would expect to see anything different over the next 4 months of the year either. So I think we're looking at a 2 million or so. But maybe there's a different number. You guys are working on some stuff, obviously, but it'd be nice to see what the plan looks like, from the expenses side of it as well. And, in a conversation, whether that's an open or closed conversation, I think it's worth looking into seeing what we're doing on trying to figure this out for the year, because it is going to be a difficult year. That's what I would think. So that's it.
Anyone else? Okay. Then I think we're on to E, right? Which is the general manager's report. Leslie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So the first part of my report was talking about the finances, and we have tightened that up a little bit too. And just as Rhonda was agreeable today and did some year-end or month to date. So May is looking a bit better, and as of today, proposed is about almost 340,000 in the positive. So that should reduce our deficit to about 615,000. And then if there is the will of the Port Management Committee, I'd like to bring back a readjusted budget with revenues and expenses for the June meeting. But I have just quickly today tried to tighten things up and reduce the expenses by minimally like $250,000. So that's taking away essentially any nice to haves. It's the stuff, some of the stuff that was included in our strategic plan that we were trying to be high achieving on was the asset management plan, the website, increased marketing initiatives. But in working with Logistec, that is part of their agreement with us right now. So they've enhanced their marketing. So that's really no cost to us. And I think we're just, keeping our eye on finances to get ahead of this, because it is really important to us to not be in this position and make every attempt to improve it.
Do you want to go further or?
With respect to investment opportunities, Frank and I did have a call before he came to Johnstown for the summer. And because we have 2 other GICs coming due in July, we're going to couple them all up for June and come back with a comprehensive report on different options of potentially in discussion with Frank of maybe laddering them, or, because we have the one GIC that we transferred to the operating account last December and the other 2 that are coming due, we thought we'd do it in tandem. We continue with health and safety and cross training with staff. With respect to operations, we currently do have an administrative assistant off on leave, but we're hoping to temporarily fill that with a summer student position. So that will be no additional cost. The Fraser House, they have the Grenville County Historical Society was very gracious for the motion that you adopted and shared with me their submission, and it ticked all the boxes. So they have sent that on and will keep us posted. And we have registered 3 teams for the Lyle Henderson Memorial Golf Tournament on June 6th. So I know Mayor Deschamps has been eagerly finding some players. So if anyone hasn't put their name forward and is interested, you're more than welcome to join us. It's in Prescott at 1:00 on that Saturday. And then I just included some other details, the flyer that we had circulated with all of our federal asks and just our little staff updates, so you know what's kind of going on at the ground level.
Thank you, GM. Questions? Frank?
2.
Microphone, Frank. Sorry.
2. The first relates to salt. We did touch salt a little bit earlier. Picton now has apparently a covered storage facility for salt, which they've just opened. Were they required to do that by the MOE? And if so, is there a chance that we may be required to do that?
There could potentially be a requirement. That hasn't been discussed at this point because we have been adhering to our salt operations plan. And that's something that this council has previously talked with the ministry about, but that would be the next step.
And then the second is related to the marketing initiatives comment. And it's great that Logistec is doing some things, but that drives cargo revenue. We end up being, I guess, a taker of revenue in terms of the grain business. Is there anything we can do from a marketing initiative perspective to help drive grain revenue, given the position we're in now?
That is actually a really good question, because we've been so hyper focused on diversifying the business that's not even something that we've talked about. So we will definitely take that back. Yeah.
The investment flat.
Rates are relatively flat. You look at the yield curve over even a 5-year period, there's not a big difference between 1 year and 5 year. Everything is a concern about inflation at this point in time. Just listening to CBC coming out here, the inflation rate came in at 2.5% with oil. But you take oil out, it's at 2%, which was the government target, the Bank of Canada's target. So that suggests that you're unlikely to see rates move because the non-petroleum related costs are at this point in time where they want them to be. So rates are unlikely to move much, I would think, in the near term.
Yeah, so we're not gonna, there's not gonna be a bump in the ability to,
Yeah, we won't see any
On the
additional,
GST,
any
yeah.
big additions in revenue from our investment portfolio.
so that if we wanted to achieve it higher, we'd be looking back at one investment, right? Is that,
Potentially, that's always the option, but there's two questions, and one we talked about at some length. Given the year we're having, how much cash will we need?
Yeah.
So we've got to keep that in place. And then the second, of course, is, yeah, you can potentially go into an equity type return through one investment, but then you're taking equity type risk.
Yeah.
And markets have been incredibly buoyant given everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And one wonders, is there a cliff coming at some point in time? This might be exactly the wrong time
yeah,
to get into equity markets. So it's a very difficult time from an investment perspective.
yeah, the performance over the last year has been unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, are we too late? Okay. Okay, thanks, Frank. Anyone questions or comments for Leslie? Chris, Steve, Joey, Waddy, Frank, anything further? Regina?
Just wanted to mention the staff update. It's really good. I like it. Yeah, it's really nice. So is that new from this month?
No, I've been doing them every month now. But I just haven't really included them, but I can certainly start that.
It's really
Continue.
good. Thank you.
Clint? No? Randy? No. So next, I'm assuming next month we'll see like a new revenue plan forecast, that sort of idea, like potentially a proposed budget. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, my plan was to essentially represent the budget, but with like more accurate revenue, and then a list of actually what's going to be removed or being proposed to be removed from expenses.
Okay.
Just so that everyone's clear of, and we don't come to December and say like, why wasn't this done or something? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it feels like we're hitting on staff and negatively. And I
No.
mean, you guys have done well, I think, managing the budget that we approved from, I never like to see the labor or the operating, the admin, those costs escalating. As a business owner, those are the things that, you really want to, they're the killers, right? The things you want to sort of tamp down, but we approved that budget, and we're actually delivering at or below that at this point. So I don't want you guys to think that, and I understand that getting things ready and so that you can race when it's time to race, right? It's like fixing your car up before a race. So I get it. I get it. It's just when the revenue number doesn't hit the revenue number that you anticipated, not your fault again as well. It's the situation we find ourselves in. Like Steve said, it's a continuation of last year's issue. We got an empty building, which you never want to have, right? Like that's just reality. So I get it. But I think we also still need to address that. And we need to, if we're still thinking we're going to achieve 11 or 12 million in revenue, then we need to figure out how, and we need to understand, what that revenue line is compared to what we thought it was going to be. And for me, that expense line, I know you talked about 250 off of it or whatever. I think everybody's doing a decent job. To me, it would be, looking at it, it'd be like you talked about how you're backfilling that position, with a student staff. That makes sense to me. And if they can accomplish the job, regular hours, zero overtime available, that like those things to me, show that you're doing, what you have to. You're trying to prevent, and nobody wants layoffs, so you're trying to prevent and make sure that everybody, continues to do that and move that forward. But I think from our perspective, from management perspective, we still have to look at what the bottom line for the year is and try to as accurately, predict a worst case a maybe case, and then, you know, a best case maybe might be, so it's not doom and gloom all over either, that there actually is. You've already talked about how May's a positive 330, and you're not going to see 2 million. You're going to see it go down to just over 600,000. So that's moving in the right direction. I think we still need to continue to tell that story positively as we can as well. So no, it seems like it's
of us though, please know that we equally share that this is our own money and this is our business as well. And we do not take that to heart at all. We take this as seriously as you do.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't see it. I mean, we approve the budget for the spends the way that we approve them. I think we're there. I think where we haven't delivered, or at least in my eyes, where we haven't been able to deliver is that first line, that revenue line. We all know what hinges on being able to hit that target. And I went through and I looked at 2024 and I did a year by year and a month by month and analysis and stuff. And, you know, we're up actually in several places, which is, it doesn't tell that tale at the end of it yet. But I think come December, it'll be a little different than what it is, you know, today.
Proposed.
So, okay. All right. That said, I guess that there would be a motion, right? And the motion, has everybody had a chance? Sorry, I spewed there for a minute. I just want to make sure everybody's had a chance to spew if they want to. All right. Okay. So the motion would be that the Port Management Committee received and reviewed items 8A, grain operations report, B, maintenance report, C, capital budget report, D, financial/traffic report, and E, the GM report as presented. I need a mover. Moved by Councillor Chris Ward, seconded by, of course, Councillor Smale. Further discussion? Okay, I do have one, Leslie. Sorry, I just noticed it on my notes. And you did we did 10 letters that went out to, like, you know, every minister that we could send a letter to. I know we got feedback from Mr. McGinty, and I know Minister McGinty, and there's been further discussion through that. Have we gotten any uptake? I kind of thought we might hear from Minister McDonald. You know,
no uptake from anyone else. Mr. McGinty's office did send us the contact, and we have been in discussion with the staff from the Ottawa office about how the port could help facilitate, and they do intend to visit. They haven't set a date yet, but that's the only communication we've had back so far.
Okay. Maybe I can put pen to paper again then, or whatever you call it in the digital world, and we can send something to those other ones and just do a follow-up to make sure that they did receive and understand that we're still ready, willing, and able.
Auto response that we've received your email, but
yeah, see if we can find a way in another way somehow.
Even if I can do some background work on maybe a PA contact or something.
Yeah, see if we can find a way, get it into the hands that it needs to be in, instead of maybe a mailbox that doesn't get attended to or something. Yeah. Okay. So one good follow-up through Minister McGinty, and not much from anybody else. Okay. That was it. All right. So mover and seconder, yes. Further discussion at all? Okay, hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Approval of the disbursements. It reads that Council of the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal approves the payment of the port invoices circulated and numbered as follows. Withdrawals total $163,243.35. Batch 11 EFT $4,161.56. Batch 12 checks $8,645.85. Batch 13 EFT is $236,172.42 for a total of $248,979.83, and a total of direct withdrawal and batch listings of $412,223.18. I need a mover. Moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Smale. Discussion on the disbursements? Yes.
I think I answered my own question as I pressed the button. The Bobcat, 128,000. We had 125 in budget. We say it's 113. That's because of HST, isn't it? Yeah, okay, that's fine. I was noticing the difference, and Oh, okay.
No, because in the capital, the HST is not included regardless, so Jeff can answer why it's lower.
Okay.
Um,
I'm glad that it's lower. And that's why I just, yeah, that's fine.
It was just what they came back with.
Okay.
And I'm not going to argue with it.
Please don't pay them the more the money we're winning. That's fine. I just thought it was different than I thought it could be the HST itself, but it was actually got a better deal. So that's great. So good.
Okay, anyone else on disbursements? Okay, hearing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Counselor inquiries, notice of motion. Anyone have an inquiry or notice of motion? Absolutely, Deputy Mayor.
We have, we cleaned up 35 acres at the old Prescott Machine Welding in 2023. And now it's grown back up. Do we have any plans of going forward on this? Because if not, we're gonna double up in our price next year or the year after.
We are working on something that we would have to bring back. I don't feel confident enough to bring forward the information at this time, but we are working on a plan that would see it cleaned up.
Will we have that report in June?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, any further inquiries, notice of motion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, then chair's report, I do not, question period. We do have areas or Tom, one of the two, in the gallery. Questions at all? Okay, hearing none provided. Good. Okay, so then we do have a closed session, and Counselor Ward, I think you have that motion.
I do, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that committee proceeds into closed session at 7:38 PM in order to address a matter pertaining to Section 239 2B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically a personal matter identifiable individual, township workplace investigation, approved closed session minutes from April 20th, 2026, and section 239 2K, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried out on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, specifically business development operating lease.
Okay, motions on the floor to go into closed session, discussion on going into closed. Okay, then I'll call the question to go into closed. All in favor? Good, okay. So we'll take a 10-minute recess and then we'll reconvene in 10 minutes.
Steve Fairbanks, where did he end up?
I am. Yeah, me.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's how it.
Actually, it's just not. Good to go? All right, so Counselor Ward, can you bring us back into, or end the closed session, bring us back into open?
Yes, I can, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that the closed meeting of committee does now adjourn and the open meeting does now resume at 8:08 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and
Minutes.
call the question, all in favor? Okay, we're back in open session. The first thing that we do when we come out of open session is to receive and approve the minutes. So Chris, do you want to?
Okay, yep. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that committee receives and approves the closed session minutes dated April 20th, 2026.
Okay,
Thank you.
approval of the minutes, all in favor? Okay, and then the report out of closed is simple. Committee met in closed session in order to address a matter pertaining to section 239(2)B, obviously to approve the closed session minutes dated April 20th, 2026. And under section 239(2)K, a position plan procedure criteria or instruction to be applied to any negotiation carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality, local board, specifically business development operating lease. And direction was provided to staff. Next item on our agenda is adjournment. Councillor Martel, you have that motion.
Thank you, Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Waddy Smail. The committee does now adjourn at 8:10 p.m. on Mike Moulton's birthday.
Oh, non-debatable motion, but before I call the question, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you. All right, all in favor of adjournment? We're adjourned. All right.
See you guys later.